Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. It's been a bit, so I hope you'll stick with me. We'll have a little chat. As you can see by the thumbnail, it's called Turning the Page, and the title of this video is Dig, Remember, Believe, My Time in the Garden. So I just finished planting some annuals in my garden in the backyard, and it felt so good to get my hands in the dirt. You know, you don't realize how much putting your hands in the soil really sort of grounds you and energizes you all at the same time. It's very therapeutic, and I really needed it. And after I was finished doing that, I sort of sat back and, looked at it. And as I sat there looking at my little garden, I thought about my mom, as I often do. It is amazing to me how many times I think about her in the course of a day. She loved gardening, and I loved helping her garden. I was her muscle. She would say, I need a rock move, and I would move the rock, and she would say, I need this, lifted over here, or this hole dug, and I would do it for her. You get the picture, right? When she passed away, I remember going through some of her things, and I found this little baggie of things, and inside that baggie was a map and all the plant tags for this little spot on her property that she called Boot Hill. And I can't tell you how many years we worked on building up Boot Hill. It went from a ditch to this beautiful landscaped thing, and she was so really proud of it. I'm just sitting, in that memory. Like, I miss her so much, but I'm so blessed to have those memories and to have those times to look at, and also to share the love of gardening that she gifted me. My mother's death, as you all know, has affected me deeply. I don't know that I have ever been okay since. It's hard to think about, and even harder to say out loud, that one single event changed my life forever. That one life experience eventually led me here to the spiritual community on YouTube. I entered the chats of different readers' rooms, and other chatters were popping up and saying hi and how are you, and making me feel welcome and supported, and there was no judgment. That's not what I was used to at that time. Not at all. It was 2018, and I had been navigating my grief and the diagnosis of my anxiety, panic disorder, and depression since 2012. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was in the right place at the right time, and things were like working as they should. And then the pandemic hit, and I was invited to join Allie to talk about my experiences. You see, I had been living as a hostage to my fear brought on by my anxiety panic disorder. And I had created this like safe sort of shelter for myself where I didn't go very far outside of the four walls of my home. And so when the pandemic hit and everybody was feeling closed up, locked up, restricted, I felt completely normal and felt, in fact, I think I felt better than normal because suddenly everybody was just like me. I no longer stuck out like a sore thumb. Anyway, during that show, I was encouraged to start a channel, and I did. Many of you know this story, but I feel like I need to say it out loud because we're going somewhere with it, and not maybe where you think. So I started this channel, and I loved it. I soaked it up like a sponge. I was making connections with people and truly felt like I was in the right place at the right time. I don't even know the word. I was so enthralled with it all. And I don't mean like the YouTube part per se of being, a content creator, because I didn't consider myself a content creator. I just mean connecting with people. Because I had locked myself in the four walls of my home for such a long time, I couldn't get enough of real, genuine, honest, non-judgmental connection and support. My goal has always been to help people. I feel like I am my best self when I'm making others happy. And in some small way, I felt like at that moment when I started my channel that that's what I was doing. And I was in it to win it. I mean, every night for many hours, many of you would join me and we would sit and we would talk and we would chat and we would laugh and we would share stories. And sometimes there were tears and sometimes it was hard and heavy, but beautiful all at the same time because we were supporting each other in a non-judgmental way. I think that feeling alone and unheard, not seen, misunderstood, it's debilitating in my experience. And so if I could lend an ear or a shoulder or just my presence, I felt like I was doing what I needed to do. I felt like I was doing what I wished someone could have done for me. And shortly after that, I introduced oracle cards to the channel because I was live streaming so much and I smoke and I didn't want to smoke on camera and I needed something to keep my hands busy. Also, when you have anxiety, well, in my case, I get really fidgety. And so I need something to do with my hands to keep me sort of calm. And one of the reasons that I chew gum all the time, which you notice I'm not chewing gum now. And so I introduced oracle cards, and not too long after that, tarot cards. And I loved it for a long time. And then I didn't. Sorry, I'm like more emotional than I thought I was going to be. If I'm being completely honest, I have always felt welcome, but not that I belonged. I don't know if that makes sense. And it's no secret that I'm struggling, and that I have been for about the last year and a half. I try so hard to show up when I can, because this channel and you are not just important to me, you're my lifeline. Talk about putting pressure on yourself, right? I've tried to be kind to myself while I navigated this, and what a roller coaster that's been. And it's affected me more than I care to admit. I have isolated myself so much as a way of protecting myself that I literally freak out with anxiety at the thought of just turning this camera on. It's taken me a week to do this video. And at some point, I stopped trying to give myself or affording myself grace to figure out what I wanted to do, and I went straight into survival mode. My anxiety was so high, and that's so scary. When you work so hard, it's to have one odd bad day as opposed to all of the days being not great. When those not so great days start stacking up, the thought of sliding backwards is terrifying. And I'm older now, and I don't have the energy that I once did. And so I just spiraled. It hadn't happened in a long time, like I said. But it was at that point that I stopped believing in myself, and my purpose, and my reason for being here, and my reason for doing this channel, for all of the things. I was questioning everything and was on that never-ending hamster wheel ride, and I wanted off. I wanted an answer to sort it out. And so I knew I had a decision to make. And in typical Kelly fashion, I was burying my head in the sand because I feared the repercussions of my decision. You all know that I don't like the word mistake. But this decision, I intuitively knew once I made it, would be a giant mistake. You see, I was leaning towards, I have to shut this channel down. I can't do this. I can't be here for you. I can't show up for you. I can't be consistent for you. When my anxiety is high, I don't feel I can read. And I don't want to do that to myself, like put that kind of pressure on myself, or not give you my best. And so I spiraled a little bit more. Do I close the channel because I can't do this anymore? Or do I dig in and figure out how to make it work? And I know that you could all tell when I was in either one of those states of mind. I'm sure that you could. I mentioned a few months back when I was feeling, a temporary moment of strength, that I would be going back to more chats and leaving the cards off the table for a bit. And it may have seemed like as soon as I said it, I forgot, that I had said it, because I fell right back into my old patterns. You see, somehow I managed to convince myself that the only reason that you all show up is for a reading, not for me and you to connect and conversate and share. I would turn the camera on and I didn't know what to say or what to do. That pressure of, do something, say something. It was too much. Too much. And I can't tell you how much that broke my heart. The one thing that has brought me so much joy and I can't do it. I watch those Sunday, what I call the Sunday shows on YouTube. And, sorry, I'm going to take a drink. And light my smoke. And if you ever read some of the comments from those Sunday shows, they're just lovely. I mean, honestly. People saying how they just love to watch the person do whatever it is that they're doing, or listen to whatever they're talking about. They just want to be a part of something. I'm like, that's what I want. Quincy wants that too. Hi, buddy. Hi, sweetheart. I just want to be a part of something that feels good. And I know I'm not alone. I know you will all feel the same way. And then I thought about, what are some things that I've done on the channel that made me feel really good? And when I say me, I mean me personally, but also being proud of what I did, being proud of how it was received. And I don't mean in terms of subscribers and views, but just, somebody coming back and saying like, that was helpful, thank you, or I'm so glad I tuned in for that because I really needed to hear that kind of thing. One of those was my One Step at a Time, where I was feeling so good and so loved and so strong and so confident that I actually tried to venture outside of these four walls. And there you all were, encouraging me every step of the way, one step at a time. And then Fridays at the fire pit, because we never knew what was going to happen other than there would be a fire at the fire pit, and we enjoyed ourselves. So while I start thinking about those two things, just the thought of it, and immediately I feel a weight lifting. I started recalling specifics about those two things that we did. And I was feeling genuine excitement, and that's huge. But as soon as I allowed myself to feel the joy, I swung back and went, who am I kidding? I can't even turn on the camera. So I second guessed myself. Because that's the fear talking. That's what anxiety does to you. And then I was talking to somebody, and the forgiveness ceremony that I did on the channel came up. It wasn't long after I started this channel that I sat in front of my fire pit on a dark, cold Canadian winter night in November, I think it was. Where I read a letter that I wrote to my dad. Through tears rolling down my face and frozen fingers. And I had people in that chat loving me and supporting me and encouraging me. And I thought to myself, if I could do that, I can turn the camera on. I'm safe. That forgiveness ceremony was in equal measures beautiful and incredibly uncomfortable. But the thing that I remember the most about that was after I got up and I went inside and I went about my life. I went about my business. It didn't hurt. It didn't stop me from doing anything. It didn't push me to do anything. I just went about my business. And the reason that I was able to go about my business is because that weight had been lifted from me. I released it. And that made a significant impact. Quincy's coming to say hi. Hi, bud. And when I thought about that moment again, the dots started to connect for me. That moment when the fog starts to lift, it's just glorious. And if I go back to the beginning of this channel and watch what we shared and how we connected, that's what it was all about. And I liked how that felt. That felt good. That felt right. That felt like Kelly. And my mom's favorite word is believe. And she always encouraged me to believe in myself. And I do. I believe in me. Now, I said it's taken me a week to make this video. I had no speakers, my camera wasn't working. But it didn't matter. I wasn't stressed. I didn't get upset. Instead, every single day this week, and I'll talk about this more later, I was able to do more and push myself further and was comfortable doing it. And that may not sound like a big deal to a lot of people, but when you have anxiety, sometimes, more times than not, it affects your physical body as well as your mental state. And you have moments where you feel, your heart's racing, or you can't swallow, or your stomach is upset, or your heart is racing, or your throat feels like it's closing up, etc., and so on and so forth. And so the fact that I was able to do every day one thing, a couple of things, many things, to me, tells me in here and in here that this is the right decision, that I feel good. Because what's happened is I went from spiraling out of control, feeling lost and not knowing what to do, to making a decision, knowing that it feels right, and releasing all of the weight that I was sort of holding on to. And so we're turning the page. It's a clean slate. As we move forward, it may not always be smooth sailing, but I'm going to take it one step at a time. We, as a channel, are going to take it one step at a time. We will sit and we'll chat and we'll laugh and we'll share stories and we will support each other and connect, and we will do things. The cards, they're right here. They haven't gone anywhere. But for the next little while, or till whenever, they will not be the focus. They may make an appearance from an odd time, but they will not be the focus. I know that some of you are subscribed because of the readings, and I am grateful and so appreciative of your support. I hope that you stick around. I just truly want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of my life and being a part of this wonderful community connection that we've built together. And I want to move forward in that path. I'm not making a commitment in terms of how many videos I do or how often I come on, because I can't do that right now in good conscience. My goal is to aim for at least once a week. And that's as much as I can sort of narrow it down. So, in closing, the channel name will change to dzncats chats. The cards will be dropped. Please make sure that your bell notification is checked off under all, so you don't miss any notifications, because there's a lot of weird stuff going on YouTube, and people saying that they're not getting notifications and they're unsubscribed from channels and so on and so forth. So do that. Make sure that you're subscribed, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video and share a couple of things that I'm doing. One of them is sort of zhuzhing up my space here, just making it feel more comfortable for me. And I want to show you some of the stuff I got. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I know it's I think it's Memorial Day weekend there for you guys. Our long weekend was last weekend. It was Victoria Day weekend, and it was like a tornado. High winds of 110 kilometers an hour. We had torrential downpours. It was freezing, like freezing 0 here. So normally that's the weekend we all plant our flowers, and so it was like, oh my gosh, do we put them in the ground? Don't we put them in the ground? And then the next 2 days it was like 34 with the humidex, 34 degrees Celsius, which is like 94, I think, Fahrenheit. And last night it was freezing again. So the weather is up and down like a toilet seat. So there's that. But anyway, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. And again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for all of your love and all of your support. And I hope that I see you in the next video. So from me to you, I wish you many blessings. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you when I see you next. Bye for now.